Oh, this is a video? You'll probably dropped it in chat. Oh. You gave me a specific video with a specific
all work together to make
time stamp. I am curious. Ah, yes. Good. That is good. That's why the Discord's there. Okay, let's look at that one. So, do I have to watch the whole video, or do I just watch from that part? Because you send it with a timestamp. I can ignore the timestamp. So, the video title is Video Games and Sexy Gender Binary. I feel like I've seen something like this. Let's see. Now, again, you gotta understand. I will have opinions that we might not agree on fully. So we'll see how it's going to play out.
Non-binary representation in video games of the past has been limited to weird little persons like Kirby and Queen of Quen, little blob people who can't have a gender, mainly because they're just so round. In the early days of gaming, since your characters were made up of all of about 10 pixels, you'd sometimes get characters like the White Mage in Final Fantasy, whose gender was ambiguous enough that even Nintendo wasn't sure what it was supposed to be. But when
That's fine. That's fine.
I heard that Baldur's Gate 3 had trans options to customize your player character's body down to the junk. I was delighted because I identify as a disgusting pervert. I was super into the idea.
That's not a good thing to say, by the way. When all people already think that about you. That is not good.
Being able to create a trans body, an androgynous character with they-them pronouns who I could relate to better than any I ever had before. Oh, what's that? The bodies are a strict binary with no androgynous options at all. If you pick the masculine body, you can't have a feminine face and vice versa. There's no boob.
Well, that's not necessarily true. That's not true. You can pick a muscular female. Okay, I see what you mean. Well, the thing is, I doubt you're gonna look like a okay, let's be fucking real, right? The only way for you, realistically, to have an actual muscular main body and have an actual female looking face that looks like a female from a female option menu is like 0.1% chance of that happening, because it's genetics. You cannot, unless, again, like I say, like a lot of plastic surgery and stuff like that for that to happen, or in reverse, for you to keep your like female, like luscious curvy body, whatever the fuck, up to here, right? Up to here. Hold on, are we back? We're back. Jesus fucking Christ. My internet went out. It's not good. Anyways. Apologies. Sitting back. Fresh. Don't know why that happened. We're live. Yeah, internet went out. That's what happened. I don't know why. I was talking about the thing. So, like I was saying, okay, I'll try to. I don't know what I said that was caught before it turned off, but it's very rare and it requires seriously heavy plastic surgery for you to have a feminine body, like a feminine, actual real female body, and have a male face, which would make it seem very unnatural, or in reverse, a very male body, very seriously testosterone driven body, and an actual female selected as if from a female menu face. That's what this person wants. That is just taking Ken's head and putting it on a Barbie, and Barbie's head putting on a Ken body. That's just not, yes, for your fantasy, yes, but realistically, that's just not, you cannot tell me that will represent you and make it be like you, because I bet fucking quadrillion money I don't have that you don't look like that. I can bet so much money on it.
You can only have them with the feminine body, and the height is fixed to make sure feminine bodies are always shorter than the masculine bodies? Oh.
No. You can also have male shorter body. The thing is, the height isn't.
Great. Thanks so much. So basically, if you want to be tall, you have
big, masculine females in the game are taller than skinnier
to be
males.
flat-chested. Like this.
Also, it matters based on the race.
Designed so you can be a trans woman, for example, but you can't be a tall trans woman. This whole customizable junk thing is starting to feel like a bit of a gimmick. While
There is no height slider in the game,
I ended up really loving Baldur's Gate,
and usually men are taller than females. And in this case, if you're taller and if you're identifying as a girl, I mean that's just saying.
3, I was nevertheless disappointed by the character creator. So when I heard the news about Dragon Age the Veilguard, I was really excited. Yes, in that way. Veilguard has a truly extensive character creator in which you can customize your body in all sorts of ways. There's a triangle slider for bodies with the 3 points being skinny, chubby, and muscular. You can do the same with faces.
I hate that slider. I much prefer having 3 different sliders separate, you know, that are like this, and then you can on their own do them, so make like even the fat super muscular person. That one's more inclusive. This is not inclusive.
A super androgynous face between your own selection of mask and femme faces. There's a bulge slider regardless of your gender. You can even give your character top surgery scars. Incroyable. And perhaps most impressive of all, you were given the option to select a trans history for your character, giving you unique trans.
This is good if that's all that you care about, and I feel like that's what this person in particular cares about the most, rather than the quality of the game. This is what I talked about before. I care about the quality of the game. Yes, extra options, height sliders, this and that, fantastic, I like it. But the point of the game is for the game to be good. The game was not good even if it had an extensive character creator. That does not make the game good. Fucking Oblivion has a but it has a good character creator. You can make the biggest freaks you want. The point is, if the game sucked, regardless of how decent the character creator was, it wouldn't have mattered.
Trans-related dialogue options, which
in that case, people are more forgiving about the characters not looking the best, even if you have that character, the character is not looking the best because the game is good. Which one would you want? The game to be better with the compromise of maybe not having the best character creator, or having the best character creator but the game sucking ass?
Which would be especially important because one of the companions you pick up is Tash the Dragon Hunter, a super cool warrior who breathes fire. There's no way
super cool.
This is awesome. I mean, Tash is a Kunari, these guys with the horns, and the previous Dragon Age installment established trans lore with the Kunari. These guys have...
That's all this person cares about is fucking trans. It's not talking about quality. I haven't heard one fucking thing about the quality of the game.
Such strict gender roles that they circle round to trans inclusion.
If a Kunari woman really wants to fight and has a gift for it, she becomes an Akunath Lak. He becomes a guy.
Kunari don't treat those Coon people any differently than a real man?
They are real men.
This is Iron Bull, and this is his second in command, Krem. Krem is trans, and although he's survived transphobia in the human world, Iron Bull just fully accepts him because being trans is normal in Kunari culture. It's really great world building, it feels cohesive and natural, and I really loved it. Krem is a great character.
They ever wear shirts under the Coon chief? Or do they just
If they're critical about it, we'll see.
run around binding their breasts like that?
It's a harness.
Yes, for your pillowy man bosoms.
So undoubtedly, this creative team could totally bring the same to Tash and provide us with the best non-binary character in video games. Oh, what's that? The head writer of the original Dragon Age left? Oh, great.
So I'm non-binary.
What is that?
Okay.
I'm gonna be honest, Tash's lengthy coming out story is not only boring, it not only makes Tash feel like an insufferable teenager and unbearable to romance in a game that's meant to be for adults, but also, it just kinda doesn't make sense.
Yes, because people who wrote it clearly didn't know how to fucking
Tash's
write.
main companion quest is coming out to their mum, who, spoiler alert, as it turns out, is basically fine with it. There are other non-binary people in Tash's guild, and there's no mention of transphobia existing on any level in the society in which they live, the Kingdom of Ravane, which is such an androgynous place that even the men get to wear sexy warrior bikinis. So not only was I confused as to why Tash was so worried about coming out, but my special non-binary dialogue options didn't help me in the slightest. I still don't get what the problem was in this world where everyone was so accepting of everything that the game just feels like an episode of Heartstopper.
Because somebody wanted to project, and that this is ironic as fuck. You are a person, in particular this person talking, you are a person who's pushing for wanting this. The studios are like, fuck me, there you go, they want that, right? They want that. Clearly that's a big audience, let's hire people exactly like them to write exactly like them. Oh, they can't write for shit and they don't know how to do it except project themselves into it? Well, fuck. You know? That's the difference. Again, I agree with the video guy, person, whatever the fuck, I don't know. That this was done poorly and it was boring. It could have been done better. But also, it didn't even need to be done. You don't even need to have that side quest for it to be the way it is. That's the thing, right? That's because it feels so much in your face that it's not only making regular, I guess, trans people in this case feel a bit. It would make normal people, not trans normal people, feel completely pushed away because, okay, well, I'm kind of forced into doing this because I want to do all of it. I want to do 100%. But then you're kind of sort of forced into this and you're like, I hate this character. I don't care about it. So then you're kind of forced into it. A good game, and this is true, a good game has their companion quests always be interesting to everybody, regardless of your fucking gender. That's the thing. You want good games and feel represented, and we got this damaging. Yes. What we get is damaging. You're right. Exactly. This is damaging. This is absolutely, I 100% agree. This is absolutely damaging. And you gotta understand, it's purely because the writers are projecting and forcing this narrative, and that's why everybody, when they make videos about these things, not everybody but majority of it, are criticizing that particular thing. They're not saying, oh, it's because they're trans, we don't want them to be trans or whatever. It's as long as it makes sense and it's logical and it's well written, that's fine. But if you're forcing it and making it shit, and at the same time it pushes away regular players, that's not good. That's bad, not just for the community, not just for the original fan base, also for the new fan base you're trying to build through trans people, and fucking business. You're losing money.
Kind of feels like Tash lives in San Francisco, has a popular shipping Tumblr, but somehow doesn't know what a trans person is.
Yes, she is pretty much what you imagine a person who stays on, no, who was on Tumblr before, went on to, no, actually was in MySpace, then went to Tumblr, then went to Reddit, then have their own community of Reddit, and man, everybody who disagrees with them went on Twitter, called everybody Nazis, and went to Blue Sky. That's what Tosh is.
There's this bizarre educational scene where a
This
character
one,
explains
yes.
in great detail what to do when a trans person is misgendered.
Best part is, while Tosh is pounding that snake's nose, she's still holding the ruby in her other hand. They're still holding it, sorry.
What are you doing?
So, when one of us screws up and we know we've screwed up, we do a quick 10 to put it right.
Any reason?
You don't mind playing as cis most of the time, but earlier you're able to create yourself or people like you. So, have you ever considered that that's because the story doesn't care about gender? Like, to me, one of the best examples is Mass Effect, where genuinely the game, outside of the choice, because, you know, not everybody's gay, but those that are, like, if you're playing male Shepard or female Shepard, some choices are different, simply romance choices. Everything else is fine, it's the same. But it's written so well that it works for both genders. In that game, you can identify as a motherfucking whatever the fuck you want, as long as you're playing either one of them, right? But what my understanding is, what you want is you want a customizable character, or specifically a trans character. But you gotta understand, and this is a fact, if there's a game made with a trans character, that means somebody had to have been inspired to do it. You gotta understand that straight people are not interested. I'm not sure about bi or gay, but like I know for a fact that straight people are not interested in making trans stories, right? It's fine from what you've seen. Yes, Mass Effect is a huge W. So, but yeah, straight people are not interested in making trans stories, and even if they were, most cases they probably couldn't really translate the real struggle a trans person would be going through. So, even then, right, if you want to make a story about the trans life, which most of the time, 99% of the time, is a struggle, there's there isn't a trans person who's having the greatest of normal lives. Most of the time, they're struggling with their own identity, and that's the game that you want. Because there's no, like, what other game would you want? An action story game with a trans person? It doesn't matter at that point if it's a trans person or not, because it's about the action. It's about what's happening with the thing. That's kind of the example of Mass Effect, right? You're not there for what's the identity of the main protagonist. You're there for what's the interactions between the world and the mission you're on. That's what you care about, right? So that's why I don't understand in this case that thing. So let's just play it out, right? Let's say somebody writes a trans game about a trans character having their trans adventure, whatever, right? It doesn't sell well. It doesn't sell a lot, or it doesn't promote a lot, because it's promoted on, this is the game where you play as a trans blah 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 blah. Now, a lot of straight people and normal gamers, when I say, I mean those that don't look at gender, are gonna be like, it's promoted as trans game. That's kind of weird. Like, that's not really my thing. I don't like games that promote that promote sexuality, rather than promote what the game is about. If the whole identity of the game is it's a trans protagonist, because otherwise you would have to promote it as what the game is without the character having to be addressed as being trans. Do you understand? Because if it's not addressed, you're gonna go, well, not particularly you, but like the community would go, oh, but they're not addressing the fact that it's a trans person, because it's not the important part. But then it's like, oh, then you're not focusing on the fact that it's trans person, so you're pushing it down and you're not making the exposure of it. It's like, you cannot win in that case. Okay, there is no winning, because it's either going to go the you're gonna promote it as a trans lead game, and it's not gonna sell well. It's not gonna get our promotion. It's gonna probably get shit on, or you're not gonna do it, and then you're gonna get shit on by the trans community because it's not. You're gonna be eaten by either side, one way or another. Okay, so you make a choice. How are you gonna make this? Well, what you do is don't just make a good game. Put a male body in there, and just have a good story. Put a female body in there, have a good story. Okay, you can put. No, people are not going to be interested, and this is a fact. People are not going to be interested in somebody who looks like a female and sounds like a guy. That's not going to happen. People are not interested in that. People get hit out of nowhere with that, and are like, ugh. And that's just a fact. It's not even about being transphobic. It's similarly to seeing a main protagonist. If you have a main protagonist with no two hands and just like that, and you're supposed to like take them seriously when threatening somebody, that's not going to happen. They're not going to be taken seriously unless it's already established. That's not going to happen. It doesn't have to be trans adventure. It is cool about Sims where queer people are just there and accepted. But yes, but that's different, right? Those are sim games where character creator is the main thing primarily, right? You want to create yourself, you can play as yourself, play your whatever life or whatever. But we're talking about these games, right? These particular games where it's about the adventure, it's about the action, and they make it about your gender, which absolutely isn't the case in the previous games. Nobody fucking cared. Maybe it could help normalize the fact that we exist. The media cannot help you when you're not helping yourself, in the sense that you're self-sabotaging through this. This is the type of self-sabotage because people who wrote this are trans, queer, and whatever the fuck. They are your fucking allies. They're your friends. They're you, right? They are you. Nobody could write this better if we were talking about experiencing, understanding your experiences than you, right? And like, there it is. That's the quality of it. You have the reins, and this is what you come up with, right? So then the media goes, well, I mean, you cannot tell me that the media didn't defend this game for the longest of times. I can pull up articles. They were hating on everybody that was hating on this. They were doing their fucking best to support this and make it like trans rights, whatever the fuck. That's fine. But clearly it was self-sabotaged. And nobody can help in this case. That's the problem. Duskborn, for example, same shit. Like, okay, they're all colorful characters, great, but the message of the game is absolute ass. Like, what do you want? Like, it cannot happen. I don't know, man. Like, quality writers are quality because they're writers, not because of their gender. And the problem is, these writers in particular focus too much on their identity and identity projection rather than writing good quality of the character who is transgender in this case, right? Like, for example, I'll give you a good one. Astarion in Baldur's Gate. He could be non-binary. Who the fuck cares? He could be gay. He could be straight. Nobody fucking gives a fuck. Guys are attracted to him. Females are attracted to him. Trans people are attracted to him. Non-binary people are attracted to him. But he's him. He's himself. Why? Because he's a well-written character. He's charming. He's attractive. He has flair. He's flamboyant. But he's not annoying. He's not... Well, I mean, he's annoying, but not in the sense like this. He's not pushing some crazy agenda that's clearly putting him in one of the boxes, right? He's in all of these, but what Tosh does is Tosh puts itself here and everything else just gets ignored, while it could be an option for it to be in them, right? You were talking about choices. This is beyond choice. This is limitation. You're limiting yourself in the delusion that you're putting a choice. It's not. And that's why I think Baldur's Gate did an amazing job, because every single character is written so well that you can spot and potentially identify and respect their desires. You want you think of fucking Lizelle. She's not lesbian. You can tell she's not lesbian. She's she's a very strong, very in herself, doesn't let many people manipulate her, and doesn't go soft unless really somebody really managed to break through that hard shell that she has. It's her character. That's good. That's good character writing. Fucking Shadowheart story, really in depth. She seems like just a straight cis girl. That's fine. But her story, her character is deep. It's very complex. That's where the focus is. It's not about what the fuck her sexuality is. That doesn't matter. Karlach could be a butch lesbian. It doesn't fucking matter. It can be both. She doesn't care. She said she doesn't care. She doesn't both. Nobody cared. Why? Because her story was cool. It was about the demons, the devil, all of that shit. That was the focus. Everybody liked her because she looked cool and she was strong and muscle mommy and all that. But that could work for everybody. For straight people who like that, for gay people, for fucking bis who like that, fucking trans people love her too. Everybody loves fucking Karlach. Let's not get Gale. Gale's both straight and could be fucking gay. It's fine because he likes experimenting shit. Halcyon is kind of reserved on being gay. Just saying, that's fucking normal. There's always something there for someone, which is really the best part about Baldur's Gate. And to say somebody say that its limited option doesn't allow you to be represented is fucking egotistical. Because I feel like you being represented in your own character because of a fucking slider not being there or the face not matching your face. I'm sorry. Is that all that matters in representation? Isn't it the whole fucking package that matters? Isn't that inclusivity? Is the whole thing not being selfish? Is Tosh is the product of a selfish writing. That's what I think. Sorry, rant over. I'm done. I mean, I know I defend Baldur's Gate a lot, and there is a reason for it. It's a great game. It's a fantastic game. Baldur's Gate 3 is up there with Red Dead Redemption for me. They're different games, but the writing is the character representation is it's really good. That's what it is. What it is. I didn't even check if my internet stopped or not. It's not, but check. Sure, this is. Okay, let's watch the video.
You can't just apologize?
Sometimes people say, oops, sorry, and hope that fixes it. But they just want to get the whole thing over with. Trust me.
Yes.
I know.
I'm watching this.
And so, what the fuck is the problem with just wanting to get it over with? I mean, at least he says
I
sorry.
couldn't help but feel like, oh, this non-binary content, it isn't made for non-binary people at all. It's educational content for someone else. Interestingly though, while creating my character, I realized that while there was a height slider so you can choose to be taller, the masculine bodies are still taller than the feminine bodies. And once again, only the feminine bodies are allowed boobs. That seems weird for a character creator with top surgery scars. I also noticed that the bulge slider was really not all it was cracked up to be. In fact, the bulge is gendered. If you pick a feminine body, you get a dainty flatter bulge. What? What is this penile gatekeeping in this game?
I mean, I'm just saying.
which is supposed to be so wonderfully trans-inclusive, can you really not be a tall woman with a big Why can't you just be androgynous in any of these games? Time after time, I find it impossible to make androgynous characters, despite the fact that these games are getting great press for being trans-inclusive, to make androgynous characters, despite the fact that these games are getting great press for being trans-inclusive. So what's the deal here? Why do I keep running into height limits and massive chest problems? Well, to answer that question, we must go back to the original massive chest problem, Lara Croft. Tomb Raider presented the gaming world with a very transgender problem. You see, the vast majority of gamers were men. Advertisers specifically targeted male audiences.
Yes. Because girls had Barbies, guys had cars, then girls had music videos and stuff like that, and the guys had video games.
The heroes which defined the 80s and 90s were male characters such as Mario, Sonic, Link, Solid Snake. But Lara Croft brought 90s girl power to the forefront of gaming. She was a cool, powerful woman with two main features which really brought all the boys to the yard: her big, beautiful eyes. And a chest so big her own arm clips through it. But here's where it gets gender weird. What does it mean to be a man,
What does it mean, gender weird?
but role-playing as a woman? Part of video game magic is the immersion, the ability to walk around fantastical worlds, to imagine what it would be like to be a dragon hunter, a mage, an assassin, an Indiana Jones. So if you're
I think you know more female Tomb Raider players than male. I think nobody fucking cares. I think people like the character. Not because they want to identify as the character, but because they just like the fucking character. Is it so fucking hard? It's not about sexuality.
Fantasy Indiana Jones is a woman, what does that mean for you as a player? Are you role-playing
No, you're just playing because you like the game or the character.
a woman? Are you willing to walk a mile in her 36G bra? Is the escapist fantasy of the heterosexual
God, this fucking cringe. Not gonna lie. Gonna cringe.
cis man really to be a woman, or is it to rescue one?
It does. Nobody fucking cares. I'm not looking at my fucking pants to make sure I'm a guy before I play a certain game. What?
Luckily, Lara came with her own solution. There is a built-in emotional distance between the player and Lara. She talks directly to
Yeah.
you. She welcomes
No,
you to her
that
home
doesn't
on a
matter. Nobody
sexy loading
cares.
Screen.
Welcome to my home. I'll take you on a guided tour. Now I'd better take off these wet clothes.
And as you play, you get to, well, look at her bum. Just there.
Yeah,
it is.
and?
a whole new angle for
And?
male gaze. Literally.
Okay.
So the male gaze in cinema is a trinity, right? The male protagonist, the camera, and the audience all work together to make it clear the story is being told from a male perspective for a male audience.
In particular, in that scene, it's made to showcase that she's hot. The guy's a guy, and he's attracted to her being hot.
Which often includes objectification of female characters.
And what about him? He's being stereotyped as, look at this fucking guy. He's staring at a female. How fucking insensitive of him without asking for permission, right?
But video games?
You know, that's fucking normal human fucking shit. You see some hot chick outside or a hot guy outside, and you're like, that's a hot chick, hot guy. You don't ask him before you, but you still have to have you fucking eyes, right? That's just how it works. You see something you like, monkey like. That's just how it works. You go at the store, you buy shit, you look at the prices, you look the cheaper price, you go, oh, what are you judgmental towards the other thing? Oh, why are you judging it? Because it's more expensive? You fucking bigot. You know?
Take it 2 steps further. The player
Why can't you accept it at the higher price?
is not
Just because it's more expensive doesn't mean it's not as good as the cheaper one. About pocket. Oh, now you're having, you know? It's kind of very stupid. Like that's also kind of a problem. They don't realize it. So, like, again, when I say they, I mean those that don't realize it, not specifically a gender or whatever.
the audience. You were also in charge of both the main character and the camera. You are
Get the fuck It's called camera control of old games. I fucking played Bounty Hunter. You saw that I have to move the camera and do the thing. I can look at fucking Django's bulge. Doesn't mean I'm gay.
The camera. So even if we radically do have a female player character now, that does nothing to disrupt the male gaze. The game is not suddenly for women just because the character is a woman. In fact,
What? It's made to make them be the focus point through sexuality. That's fine. But I say sexuality, I mean being sexualized. That's all I'm saying. Like, this is the first time you meet Panam when you just go outside of the bar thing, right? You can see her at the bar. Before that, you don't even know who she is. But this is the first time you actually get to do something with her. And this is the way you find her, right? Is that a bad thing? No, it shows that she's working on her car, doing her thing, her ass is out. What do you want? Her to fucking cover her ass while doing the thing? Is having a sexy ass a bad thing? No, it's a normal thing.
the game is not suddenly for women just because the character is a woman. In fact, since the player is the camera, they now get to male gaze all over her in ways that would make HBO blush. Obviously,
oh no, guys like sexy women. That's fucking wrong, apparently.
you don't always have.
You're curious to look at something? How do you think fucking trans people happen? Because they're fucking pervs. Straight people? Pervs. Bi people? Pervs. Everybody's a fucking perv, buddy. Something happened. A fucking kink happened because somebody was curious about something and they looked or tried. That's how it happened. It didn't happen by default. It wasn't there by default. That's how it happened, with a gaze towards something.
To use the camera in this way, but the game is intentionally programmed in a way that allows you to. And there's a reason the designers decided not to give her trousers. This is baked as deeply into the game as that thong is into her butt. So this is how games avoid players having to identify with female protagonists.
Or maybe people don't fucking care to identify as the main protagonist. I play as fucking Shepard. I don't identify as a fucking a soldier. Yes, I like it to make the choices that I would make him to make for me, but that doesn't mean that I think I am Shepard. I am not Shepard. Clearly, I'm fucking not Shepard. Now, in Baldur's Gate, right? In Baldur's Gate, you can name your character. They don't address you but as anything else, right? They don't say a name of a character, right? You can then actually role play into it because it's a role fucking playing game in a sense that it's exactly like that. It's a blank character. Shepard, not a blank character. Arthur in fucking Red Dead Redemption, not a blank character. Yes, you can customize his clothes, beard, whatever the fuck. It's a character, right? You have choices, but it's still a character that has a start and an end. You cannot say that's me unless it's a blank slate.
This is why female characters have to be sexy.
You had a new Lara poster as a teen. Jesus. I mean, that's not a bad thing, but I mean, if you don't say this to the person in making the video, they'll call you a fucking sexist.
If she's sexy, she's not you. She's for you. Even when Lara Croft was redesigned for slightly more modern sensibilities, the creators made it clear that you're not really playing as her. The executive producer of the 2013 Tomb Raider said, when people play Lara, they don't really project themselves into the character. They're more like, I want to protect her. You're kind of like her helper. You start to root for her in a way that you might not root for a male character.
Motherfucker, you dumb fucking garbage fucking dumb shit. Lead the Walking Dead. Arthur, the Red Dead Redemption 2. John, Red Dead Redemption 1. Shepard, Mafia series. What the fuck are you talking about? What the fuck do you mean? What do you mean I don't fucking root the same way? It's the same fucking thing. If you want to be Lara or date her, you probably want to date her. She was hot. You were attracted to her. She was hot. You want to bang her. Don't fucking lie.
And let's be clear, Lara Croft has been a huge success. Before they made Lara, her game developer made a
I gotta be honest with you. This is gonna get a dislike, by the way. I'm saying it. This fucking dumb fuck shit fag, shit face, fuck face person, is absolutely wrong.
male Indiana Jones knockoff.
I don't even know how I
dangerous.
can't even fucking
And he was
talk.
kind of a flop. But Lara became a cultural icon and a never-ending franchise. And the fact that she was a woman in a sea of male protagonists was a huge part of that. But she
Nobody fucking cared that she was a girl, and that was the best part. Nobody cared that she was a girl, particularly. They cared that the games were good, and everybody loved Lara Croft from back in the day. It was like, oh, new Lara Croft, can't wait. And the games were pretty decent, right? People were more upset about her chest being smaller, but they still got over it.
not only stood out to men, she also had the power to lure in the untapped market of potential female gamers. Pac-Man was marketed in the same way. Its creator said, most arcade video games of the time were violent and focused on the male player. We decided to change that demographic by designing games that can appeal to women. Oh, that's crazy. So Pac-Man was basically made
That is absolutely fucking bullshit, by the way. I can guarantee you that's bullshit. Nobody cared. Nobody fucking cared.
for women and thus to couples, therefore making game centers desirable places to go on a date. Oh, so it was designed to appeal to men and their girlfriends. Because that's the core of this. Games can try and expand their markets by appealing to new demographics, but only in addition to their core audience of straight men. You can have a female protagonist, but only if you do it in a way that won't alienate gamer bros. But what about men's bodies?
Yeah, dumb fuck. Because believe it or not, games are still sold mostly to men. Men play games mostly, not girls. That's okay. Yes, girls play. Yeah, but they're not the majority. That's okay.
Aren't they objectified too, with incredibly
Yes.
high body standards? That is an excellent
Yes.
question. So good, in fact, we're going to give it its own special chapter title. Chapter 1.5, What About Men? This topic can be hard to talk about because
Why? It's the same.
we're not really used to seeing men sexualized and objectified in our culture. So it's easy to see a topless man and conclude he's being objectified in this.
No. No, we are used to them being sexualized. You just didn't care or didn't even think about it as being an issue. Nobody fucking cared, and nobody still does. Nobody fucking cares. People praise when a dude shows off his fucking well sculpted physique that he worked for. If a girl's not fat and she's skinny or has muscles, people would be praising her. Yes, some were like, that's not my type. That's fine. Not all girls like fucking chiseled out dudes. Some like the dad bod, which is a fucking delusion, like a little bit. But like, still, regardless. But the only reason why it became a problem for females to be sexualized was because the majority are gamer bros and they like hot chicks. And a lot of the gamer girls were, let me tell you, not hot chicks. And that was the problem. They were pissed off that gamer bros like the hot chicks and not the fat chicks. And in this case, that's why I didn't like, nobody cared, because gamer bros don't care that Geralt looks like that. Heck, they'd be like, oh, he's a cool looking dude, warrior dude type of dude. That's all they care about. He's cool. He could be fucking fat. People like in League of Legends Gragas, his fat ass, but they like him. He's a cool character. Doesn't matter that he's fat, as long as the character's cool. But females hate on hot chicks because they're hotter than them. Dudes don't do that.
same way a scantily clad woman is. But titillation is about which body parts are considered sexual and therefore taboo.
This is sexualizing, but nobody cares because it's normalized. Why when a female body was sexy and it was normalized back in the 80s, all of a sudden became a problem? Because more females became more fat and they started feeling bad that they're fat and that dudes still like hotter chicks, like skinnier chicks. And because they don't want to put the effort of being skinny, that's what happens.
In a certain culture. In the West, it's inappropriate for women to go topless because women's chests are seen as inherently sexual. So sexualization of female characters in video games is often
Like that's just vague. It's fine.
about how close you can get to that taboo line without crossing it. Male chests are not seen in the same way. Men can, for the most part, go topless in public without a problem. The taboo parts of male bodies are below the waist, and objectifying men would have to mean emphasizing those parts. And you can find
But you're still wrong. You're so fucking wrong. Hey man, how you doing? Still wrong though. Because the thing is, it's because it's accepted. If enough men complained about dudes being shirtless, do you think that's not gonna change? Do you think they're not gonna change the fucking meta? Of course they'll change it. Of course they'll change it. They're gonna start making dudes in shirts and not be topless and everything. And every guy that's been topless or is topless is going to be classified as objective sexualization. But we haven't done that. Yeah, but now this is different though. But this is different though. The fuck up.
find examples of that in pop culture and even in video games. But what do you notice about these examples? They all feel kind of gay.
Yeah, because they're gay. There's no normal dude
Right?
would look at it
In
and give
our
a shit.
culture, being sexy, being sexualized is so connected with femininity that sexualized men feel like they're crossing the cis-het rules of gender. They feel gay. You can make the Baldur's Gate male companions look more risque by putting them in the female
What do you mean risque? They're fucking naked.
character's clothes.
If you're dressed like that, you're fucking gay. No straight man dresses like that.
Which emphasize their bodies. They're more objectified now and also gayer.
Because they are. It doesn't like yeah. Because no normal straight dude dresses like that. For a fucking reason. Hi, hey, hi.
And actually, this is the only way proven to make Will a tolerable character. Make him gayer. The same way that female characters are objectified to appease gamer bros who are scared of identifying with femininity, male characters mustn't be objectified. Otherwise, playing a game would feel gay. If Kronos from God of War was objectified like Lara Croft, gamer bros wouldn't feel powerful and cool playing as him.
Yeah, because nobody wants to look at fucking his dick. Everybody wants him to look like a fucking warrior. That's the fucking point. Yeah. Fucking weird. I don't think it would. What's a good example? Oh, that's good, right? Fucking Master Chief, you can see his butt. Regardless, right? So just because I can see his butt doesn't mean that he's gay or sexualized. It just depends on the context. Clearly, if fucking big boy here, Kratos, was in a fucking bikini the whole game, I would call him gay. Clearly. Because that's not masculine. There's a difference between masculinity and not. You can act gay and be in a suit. Yes, a suit can be masculine, but if you act gay, you're gay, regardless of whatever the fuck you dress. But you cannot be wearing a fucking female bikini, pretty much, and be really masculine at the same time and be taken serious. Because everybody's gonna be looking at it, at the bikini, and be like, I mean, that's gonna, yeah, he's a tough dude. Yeah, he looks strong. Yeah, masculine, but at the same time, like, yeah, I mean, that's not cool. Because it's not cool. Dude in a bikini is not cool.
They would feel uncomfortable. Huge, beefy men in games might be unrealistic. They might even be bad for men's body image, but they're not sexualized for women. They're male power.
Yes, they are. A lot of females, when they look at a girl, are like, ooh, hot body. Oh, that's just how it is, and it's a fact. People like that shit. In particular, females.
Power fantasies. So both men and women in games are designed to pander specifically to straight men's fantasies. But one great
Right, none of them pander to females, clearly. Yeah, exactly.
way to give your gamer bros exactly what they want while still selling the inclusivity of your game is the character creator, where you can design your own perfect vision of representation.
Also, isn't this kind of fucking ironic? Because this person is talking about the same thing that they were like. So the original point was representation of trans people being sexual, like being the way that they are, not enough in the creation because you want a specific thing. In this case, it's a problem that guys want females to be pretty, and it's always gonna be the male gaze. So, are trans people not attracted to hot males? Is that not how that works? No, that's not obviously not how that works, but it's just a rhetorical question. Because this person completely ignores one point, and in this case in particular, ignores the transgender, as they were talking about before. They're talking about, I'm bringing it back, both men and women. Where's non-binary or trans, you fucking ignorant person? Idiot. This person is a fucking moron. I'm just gonna say that.
Designed to pander specifically to straight men's fantasies. But one great way to give your gamer bros exactly what they want while still selling the inclusivity of your game is the character creator, where you can design your own perfect vision of representation. Do you want to be a powerful boy elf or a hot girl elf? And now in the 2020s, you can also pick your body, your gender identity, your pronouns, your voice, sometimes even your junk, all independent of each other. That's right, folks, you can select from a variety of innies and outies, cut and uncut, with bushes or freshly cut lawns to perfect the nether regions.
That's because of you. People like you who want every fucking thing just so you can identify as them. Still not happy. All I want is a height slider. All I want is the 3 different sliders for muscles, fat, and what's it called? It was the other one, masculinity, for example. Right? That's all you need. As long as they're made well, that's all you need.
Of your treasure hunter or cyber anarchist in ways which will have no bearing on the story whatsoever. And that's what inspired this video. We decided to explore the wonderful world of the trans-inclusive character creator. With all these new options, how easy is it to create an androgynous character, to exist as a non-binary person?
You mean an ugly fucking character? What the fuck is that? Who's attracted to that? Who the fuck would like a female with a fucking mustache like fucking Harvey? What's his name? Steve Harvey. Or fucking Dr. Phil. Who would fucking like that? A weirdo. A fucking insane person would like that.
In these worlds. But there's a scale when it comes to character creators, one that we just made up. But on the one hand, you have the sexy binary games, like Baldur's Gate 3, the 3rd game in the Baldur's Gate series, and Cyberpunk 2077, the 2077th game in the Cyberpunk series. On the other end of the scale, we have the mixblobby, the round little persons like Kirby and Queen of Quen. Mixblobby is usually a gender...
So they don't care about gender.
Blob with no gendered
Exactly.
body features at all.
Yeah, they don't fucking care. Who cares?
A few pixels here and there to represent a certain hairstyle or
But again, it's depending on the fucking game style, right? If the game's detailed, clearly you can't get away with this.
clothes. Minecraft is a great example. You're abstracted to the point where you are literally just a handful of cubes. You've also got Animal Crossing New Horizons or Little Big Planet. But the more intricate the design becomes, the more gendered choices get. For example, in Ollie Ollie World, a midpoint between mixed blobby and sexy binary, you get a slider, a scale where you can choose exactly how masculine or feminine you want your body shape.
You dumb fuck. This is exactly what you asked for. Like, do you realize that you're making this worse for yourself?
To be, while your chest remains slightly ambiguous. So there's still plenty of opportunity for androgyny. But the closer we get to the sexy binary, the fewer options we get for androgyny.
Because rarely do you actually have sexy middle ground trans people. That's fucking just the fact. And sexy would indicate everybody liking them. Okay? Finding them attractive. There's trans people who like men and women who they find attractive. There's straight people who can like both female and find a trans person attractive because they look like a female, or the other way around, or maybe a female likes both guys and found a trans person attractive because they didn't know they were trans. That's fine. But the point is, they're fucking ugly most of the time. And they think in their fucking mind that they look a specific way, which in reality, they don't. They're not here. They're not here. They're like probably here, which is not nothing. It doesn't fit anywhere.
In The Sims 4, first you choose whether you're male or female, and then you're able to customize further by choosing your body frame separately, which is basically your skeleton size.
Also, I'm surprised you haven't screamed or read about the fact that you can only have 2 fucking genders.
You're also able to choose whether you use the toilet standing up or whether you lactate or your pronouns. But by turning the character creator into a
I forgot about the pronouns thing.
You actually lose some freedom. Like, weirdly, you don't have any control over your chest, which is based on the gender you choose. Regardless of any other factor, you only have boobs if your gender is female. And this is often true of sexy binary.
You literally, the only way that the only reason that matters is that one choice on top. This thing, you can customize them the same way. You just have to pick female just so you can get boobs, because males cannot have boobs like females. The way females have boobs, males cannot have them. Just pick the other option and customize your dude under the female thing. Oh, but that's not. But I'm a male. I'm not a female. I'm a male. Oh, well, fucking dumb fuck. This is the problem. This is the mental problem of this situation, right? All you have to do. You're given the options. You're given all the fucking choices you want. All you have to just do is click female. Oh, but I don't identify as female. You just click female and make yourself with all the masculine choices you want. Oh, but I don't identify as female. Nobody cares. Nobody is.
You only have boobs if your gender is female. And this is often true of sexy binary games, including Baldur's Gate, Cyberpunk, and Veilguard. If you want a curvy body, you have to have a big old chest. If you want a beefy, boxy body, you are not allowed boobs under any circumstances.
It's called fucking body types of the gender you're fucking born. You're not gonna, for you, there's literally testosterone and estrogen for that shit, which manipulates your body structure. I don't believe you. Okay, I don't believe you. And the thing is, why I don't believe you is there are genetics in play where you get potentially an ugly face, which is closer to a male, because male faces are usually not as pretty as female faces. That's just a fact. If you're born a male, chances are you're gonna be fucking uglier than a girl, because girls are usually born prettier. Whatever, that's just a fact, right? But in this case, right, you say you have a more feminine body. Sure, dudes can have feminine bodies if they've never lifted a weight in their life, done any physical work, have been eating foods and taking estrogen. Yes, that's normal. But if a dude who's worked out, has some muscle, has testosterone, all of a sudden starts taking estrogen, their body morphs into a fucking weird thing. They're not going to become a straight female. Like, it's a rarity that you find this balance. I don't And it feels like people don't realize that. You say you have a masculine face on a feminine body. To me, you're not selling it because I cannot envision it, right? If some girl tells me, oh, you know, I'm a bulky girl, I work out at the gym and I have muscles, I'll believe it right away. You tell me this, I don't believe it right away. Because I've seen people who say this, that actually just lie. Is they're in their delusion, and this is not an insult to you. In their delusion, they think something that's absolutely not the reality. And I hate that. I hate that because I don't know how to, I not to insult them, but I cannot live in that delusion. That's just a fact. And if, listen, again, I've seen many pretty trans people who can be confused for the opposite gender. I've seen a female trans person who looks so much like a male, I didn't even know they were trans, which is exactly what you want to achieve, right? Similarly, the opposite way, you see a female, right? You say, I've seen straight guys who were super straight, who when they realized that was a trans person, they were completely confused. One accepted it, the other one was kind of scared of it, right? But there's some really pretty trans women who are so pretty that you don't even know they're male, right? Their voices sounds female, this and that, like you just cannot tell. But those are very rare cases, let alone natural. Okay, naturally that to happen is insanity. It's a 0.00001% chance of it happening. Naturally, for you to be born a male and for you to have a feminine body, feminine face, and sound feminine without getting any misgendering done, that is a disgustingly rare case. Get enough compliments regardless. Okay, I'm glad. That's good. If that's all you care about, if you're getting compliments, that's great. That's fantastic.
You were always expected to pick between two body types, which would have, in the past, been labelled as a male body and a female body, but which nowadays are called things like body A and body B. Tiny Tina's Wonderland gives you the options this one or that one, which is a nice nod to inclusivity, but body A and body B are still very gendered. The masculine bodies are all muscular and tall.
What the fuck do you care? It says body A, body B. What the fuck do you care?
And the feminine ones are all curvy and shorter. There's no in-between at all. And some
because you're not gonna be curvy and shorter and be a fucking man who's a man. You understand? Unless you're a small person, and you're not even gonna be that curvy.
sometimes
You're gonna be fat, for example, or you're gonna be muscular for your own physical limitations.
other features also get tangled together in the series of binaries. For example, Baldur's Gate 3 decides your pronouns based on your gender identity, and Cyberpunk ties your pronouns to your voice, a male one with he, him, and a female one with she, her. No they, them options available.
Oh my god, it literally just, it's a little thing. It's right there. Who the fuck cares?
V.
So even if you're this beautiful lady V, if you choose the deep voice, your pronouns will become pronouns.
Yo, Mr. V, a pleasure.
Which is such a weird random attempt at trans inclusion. Body modification.
No, because you gotta realize that's a whole fucking another work they have to do. Because in voice acting, you have to do a third whole recording of it. Okay? That will also indicate having middle ground clothing. Make sure the body types fit, because you gotta realize clothes, that's why there's a two of them, right? Is because there's male bodies and female bodies. They don't all work together. You cannot, because the body type doesn't fit the bottom with the thing. It's simple fucking game design. If you have a middle ground, it's even worse, because now you have to address a third problem, which is going to make even more problems. From the gamer perspective and a game developer perspective, it's chaos. It's horrible. This is the middle ground that we're talking about. Finding a solution, this is it, honestly.
Is a major part of the world building in Cyberpunk, and you can
unless you want a game that's not voiced, It's just text-based, which that's all that matters, and honestly doesn't have too much customization. That's the way to do it.
To your body at any point in the game, but weirdly, your voice, your pronouns, and your body type are fixed elements that you can never change. So what?
Because it's story-based. It's about the story. You're playing V. You're not playing fucking John Magoo over there that you've named yourself. You're not a blank slate. How fucking difficult it is to understand. Story-based games that have a named fucking character are not blank slates where you can do whatever the fuck you want. Yes, you have creativity and customizing your appearance, your body, or whatever, but your name is V. Your name is either Vince or fucking Vanessa or whatever the fuck her name was. Doesn't matter. That's your fucking name. That's your character. This is the story of V. You are just playing V. I don't know. It's not that difficult to understand.
While having every other piece of your biological body replaced with robot parts, you were never allowed to get top surgery. To be honest, the trans options in Cyberpunk just kind of give me the vibe of like straight.
Hey, don't fuck. How often do you get to see your fucking chest in Cyberpunk? What the fuck do you care? Just imagine that under the shirt, it's fucking...
Guys in high school being like, I wish I was a lesbian, so I had a pair of boobs I could play with.
Why is the creativity some of these people just non-existent? Like, I can play this game and think that, oh, actually, you know what? I was born to a dragon mother. Who's to say that's not the case? Who can stop you and say, no, actually, that's not the case? Nowhere in the game does it say about your parents. What the fuck's stopping you from that being the case? Just be creative.
With whenever I want. There are so many random features which are meant to make the character creators trans inclusive, such as facial hair and male pattern baldness. You can often have these regardless of your body choices, which is great, but you can't have a feminine body as tall as the masculine bodies, because who has ever heard of a tall woman? And before someone complains that this is because women are on average shorter than men, yes, I know, but not every man is taller than every woman.
Yes, and that is the purely gameplay limitations. Because clothes, believe it or not, do not fucking stretch in game. That would look horrible. The designs would look horrible. They're made so it works with the way that it's designed for the clothes to work. These people do not fucking think when they fucking talk about game design. You cannot make clothes fit every single fucking height that you make. That's why I said I would love a fucking height meter, but then you cannot make it so it fits every single clothing.
And like, you literally can't make Zendaya and Tom Holland in these games unless you make Tom Holland like a gnome or something. And especially in games that pride themselves on trans inclusion, it seems really weird that you can't even control your
I'm not gonna lie to you. This part
on trans inclusion.
This part with what's her face? Yeah, Claire, right? I love this part. It's one of my favorite parts. I didn't know she was trans, and I wanted to date her before I wanted to date Panam, because I like her. I like her story. I like her drive. I liked her as a character. I didn't even fucking see the flag the first time I played. I didn't fucking see it. I didn't give a fuck. And eventually, when I was talking to her on the ledge after all the races and everything, and she talked about it, I was like, oh, you're actually, what the fuck? She's actually trans? I didn't give a fuck. Because she wasn't ugly, didn't look like a fucking man, she acted like a girl, she talked like a girl, and she didn't shove her fucking pronouns and gender identity in my face from the start. Because the first impression is, she's a good character, struggles, wants to race, wants to do her thing, wants to do right, still cares for you. That was great for me. I like that. This is great. This is exactly what you want. This is fantastic inclusion. This is how you normalize what you want.
It seems really weird that you can't even control your height, because regardless of your junks,
again, hyperfixated.
Certain games just want you to be conventionally hot. You have to fit into their invented worlds in particular ways, and they decide.
Yeah, it's called art style, dumb fuck. It's called wanting to be attractive because everybody wants to be attractive. Nobody wants to be fucking ugly. Well, actually, there's some who have this mental disorder that want to be fucking ugly, but they're a very small minority.
What the restrictions are on that. So when trying to create versions of myself in all these games, for the most part, I found it impossible. Androgyny doesn't exist. It isn't allowed. But like, why? Games are just computer programs. The developers
Just computer
do
programs.
whatever they want.
Yes. It's called effort, time, resources. Is it gonna pay off in the end? That's all that matters.
Video games, like film, like most media, are a technology of gender. They help normalize our ideas, not just of what a man is, what a woman is, but what gender itself means. And because we're living in a time when our ideas of gender are rapidly changing, these changes are hyper noticeable. You can follow a game franchise like Baldur's Gate or Dragon Age and see how its conceptions of gender changed alongside our cultures in just a few decades. But if we only focus on the changes, it's very easy to overlook everything that has basically stayed the same. If you're looking for the traditional gender binary, then look no further than Baldur's Gate's hobbits. The male halflings are chubby and middle-aged in true Bilbo fashion, but the female halflings are curvaceous Lara Croft-style hotties and utter betrayal.
Do you not see them being still hella bulky? Are you fucking insane? Do you not see them being short-handed? Are you a hottie? Yeah, she looks okay. He looks okay too. This is why NBA is called gender fuck, or I don't know who NBA is. Called gender fuck or gender rebellion in the past. The binary, the thinking of the two boxes, two stereotypes, is inherently problematic. Gender is spectrum and needs to be seen fluid and three-dimensional. I'll ask one question. You're born. How do you know you're trans? I'll ask 2 questions then. Answer my first question, then I'll ask another one. When you're born, how do you know you're trans? And I'll give you even a lifesaver here. Once you answer, if you answer the same thing that I'm thinking, then we'll go from there. How do you know you have bones? Come on, don't do that. Genuinely, I'm genuinely asking, and I'm not being malicious or anything. I'm genuinely asking. How do you know you're trans when you feel them when something? That's not my question. Not what I'm asking. My question is, how do you know when you're born that you're transgender? I'll give you a bone and say, let's not say transgender. Let's say you're born non-binary, right? Let's say people are born and we don't assign male or female, right? I'll give you this one. I'm giving you for free. I'm giving you the best fucking argument you can make. Oh, but you know, when they're born, you don't have to assign them genders. We can all be non-binary at the start. Okay, that's fine, right? You agree? You agree with that? You agree that it would be best if when born, people are assigned a non-binary label, and from there they can develop into what they want? You agree with that? You think that's fair? I'll wait. You tried everything and you feel most of yourself when nobody's pushing gendered expectations on you. When you don't have to play. Okay. Still didn't answer my question. Well, let's go from there. I really wish you would answer my question so I can elaborate on why I asked that question. So it would add to the context of exactly that. Okay? Because simplest thing. And you like yourself the best in the mirror when you hide all markers? Well, yeah, isn't that fucking obvious? Shit, man. I wish a lot of things on myself that aren't the same way. And obviously, like, if I have a pimple on my ass, clearly I would feel better having pants on, not looking at it. That's fucking obvious, right? If you're outside and say, oh, or fucking even better, you have male balding pattern, whatever the fuck. Clearly, you feel better putting hair over it, right? Masks it, feels good. You don't feel like people are gonna see that you're bald. Obviously, it's just simple things. But that was not my question, right? My question was, because you said that in the past, you say the problem is that we have two boxes. See, we don't have two boxes. How is one raised as what? As non-binary? You realize that the whole fucking world has to change the way it works. Every single aspect of every single thing you know in your life or everybody's life has to get a full reset for any of that to happen. And that means everybody has to accept it everywhere around the world, even fucking Muslims, which good fucking luck with that. But let's just say that you have to accept everybody's born non-binary, and until they become of age, like whatever age, they can then decide what gender they want to be. That's the best solution to the said issue that you said that we have, right? But that's not gonna happen. And it's not a one-person thing. It's the world thing. You have to literally anything that has a specific gender to like the specific age has to be completely obliterated and erased. So it never happens, right? So you can be absolutely neutral. But that's not gonna happen. You cannot make that happen. That's impossible to happen. Is no, people aren't gonna agree to this. And it's not just a few people. It's not like a nation. There's races, there's nations, there's religions, and there's just overall things that are bound to their souls that are going to allow them to change it. And I feel like that's the thing. It's not a hateful thing. It's just the reality of things. It sucks. Like, it sucks. I mean, I understand you are born like you're a born male. You don't feel like a male. And then eventually you want to transition to being a female. I personally support that. Fine, you want to do that, that's fine. Don't blame the system. Because the system was there before you, was there before your parents, was there before all your other fucking ancestry and whatever the fuck. For me, right? We get to choose who we are now. But who we were then, it is what it is. It doesn't matter, right? I think that's the problem that people have, is they are looking more to change something that they don't have any idea how it works, or have no idea how little control they have over, and not focus on their own things that they can do. If you feel good dressing as a female, acting as a female, being a female, then do it. People don't like it, you should say okay. Because honestly, what? You're gonna fight them over it? Isn't that gonna create even more hatred? I don't understand that. People don't like long hair, so I'm getting shit on, and I have been shit on for having long hair. So what? I should just fight them over it? No, I just said, okay, well, I mean, I like it, so I have it. If it's illegal, it's different. That's completely different. But as long as it's legal, and you can do it, and you don't make a fuss about it, I don't go around telling people, why don't you have long hair, huh? Why don't you like, why? Do you hate long hair? Are you a prejudice towards long hair people? I don't do that, because that's fucking annoying. It's fucking simple. It's actually, that is actually a medical, it's actually official medical consensus that every person is an individual mix of female and male traits, and the gender is made up. But that is kind of okay. If you say you are a man, that is completely fine. Isn't there the whole XXXY thing though? Isn't that a thing? What do you mix the feminine and male? Yeah, the X, right? The X is in both. That's the point. I mean, I don't know. I know I'm not a. I know I'm not a chemist. I know I'm not a biologist. I know I don't know this shit too much, but I know enough where to know why a certain thing is a thing without making it super complicated. And that's why I like when I'm able to talk to people that I ask the simple questions as a simple man. Right? My simple question is, how is it made up? Gender is made up? Okay. Fine. Okay, but they're still born, like you're born a male or a female. Call it a sex. It doesn't matter. Call it a gender. It doesn't matter. So I'm bisexual, right? Who the fuck cares except for me and the people I interact with who I am willing to have something with it? Who the fuck cares? Nobody cares. You gay? Who cares? Nobody cares, except for you or the person you're interacting with. Unless you make it a thing that others should care about. Which is the problem with this video exactly. It's like they're talking about pushing what Tosh is doing. Pushing the thing. Nobody cares, but she's pushing it. Nobody cares. It's complicated to know who somebody is and who they turn out. I disagree. I disagree simply because it matters based on life experiences. A person without internet or knowledge, born a male, is just gonna live a normal life of being a male. That's it. But if they have internet and are fed a specific type of media, they can easily decide that they're gonna transition simply because they're fed specific media. Same thing in the other direction. It doesn't matter. I just picked a gender and just went with it. But yeah, that's it. At least that's my opinion on the matter. And the extra chromosome thing, I think you already know what that is. That is not a normality, and it's just well, I mean, we can already see the differences. It's just what it is, you know. But realistically, it's just everybody should accept everybody, but not try to attempt to change something that is literally unchangeable unless you go around the world, talk to every single person and convince them. It's not going to happen. No, you can't. You cannot. That's like wanting to make the world vegan. That's impossible. You cannot make every single person vegan. You can say the world is gonna end like in 20 years, unless we all turn vegan. I bet you there'll still be people who are not gonna turn. There's always gonna be that. That's just how it is. I mean, somebody can be a side female at birth and can turn out to have an extra Y. Well, how does that happen? That doesn't happen. They know your chromosomes when you're born. They test. What do you mean? What do you mean? You don't just grow a chromosome like that. It's just not how that happens. Turns out you have it. Like, how? What do you mean? Turns out you have it. What, I mean, okay, explain to me then. Testing chromosomes is super expensive. It's not tested at birth. Okay. So let's say you have an extra Y. Let's say you have an extra Y. Okay? So you're a bit more of a butchy lady, right? Go and you have your tests. You have your chromosome test. You confirm that you are XXY, example, right? You have proof of your chromosomes has changed. That's different. I hope you understand. It's the similarity of where you can be born intersex, right? Where it's not something you control. Similar to this, you have the tests. If we test everybody, we would get a lot of surprises. Okay, well, but that's my thing, right? Not everybody cares, friend. Majority don't fucking give a shit. They're born with a penis, they're a male. They're born with a vagina, they're a female. They don't give a fuck about extra Y or an extra X. The point is, if you care, or if your friend cares, or if your lover cares, they should go have this test. Have it confirmed. If it's confirmed, then you have an argument. If you're talking to somebody and they say, well, you look, you don't look like a male. And then you pull out the thing that's like, well, actually, I have an extra blah, 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 blah. That's the best argument you can have if that's really something that you fucking care about the most. Genuinely, that's literally the best one. Am I wrong? I don't think I'm wrong. Majority of people don't care about that shit. They just want to fucking live. I'm a guy, I like a female, I want to fuck, for example. Or I'm a girl, I like this guy, I want to fuck him. That's it. I mean, it's not that complicated, right? At least to me, I don't feel like it is. Zach. Do something here. Can I copy this? Okay, move it. Okay. Perfect. Okay. Yeah. But yeah, those are my thoughts on it, on the topic. And honestly, I'm glad I'm having these discussions. I love it. This is the type of shit I love. I love discussing with people. I like being fair. I hope people understand I'm being fair. I'm not being judgmental towards anybody. I'm accepting of everybody. But I want them to accept as well that some things are the way that they are because they are the way that they are. And if you want to change them, go ahead. But know that the path you're going to have to take to change the thing that you want to change could be nigh impossible. That's just the fact. There's a lot of things that are nigh impossible. You know? Like, a lot of people wish they could change a lot of things about their lives, but they can't. That's just how it is. Some people have to accept the fact that you cannot change a lot of things. I wish my dog was still alive. It's not. I can't change nothing about it. Could I have? Maybe. But again, a lot of fucking things in life happen. We just live life, man. I just feel like that's something people don't think about, is that we all live life.
Trail of everything Hobbit culture stands for. No second breakfast for you, madam. So while these character creators might seem to offer the freedom for everyone to enjoy these games, they never stray too far from their Lara Croft origins.
This is my character here. Now for me, this is more fun than playing a dude character. Now we're a dude. Oh, hold on. Yeah, that looks more like me.
He is you. She is for you. And now
in that case, yes, because you're not a fucking female playing the game. He's a guy playing the game with a flat, non-specific character who has a story, but he doesn't have a name. You are the president, for example, like depending on, because that's Saints Row, right? You have different names that are not names. They're titles. You're the boss. You don't have a name. That's you. I don't need a doctor to know my gender identity. I don't need to know my X and Y's. I can't change those, but I can go get my body changed to live the life that is really mine. Okay. Let's just throw this theoretical. Let's say you go to the doctor. You test your X and Y's. Let's say they come back with, like, since you're XY, they come with an extra X, right? In this case, wouldn't that reaffirm more how you feel? Wouldn't that make you feel better than how you feel right now? Considering, like you said, you're like hiding things to present yourself as how you identify as. Wouldn't this make you feel more insured in how you feel and make you as if you can argue with people more that you are the thing that you say you are? Is that fair? Is there no benefit to it? Or are you afraid you're going to go there and you're not going to get to hear that, and it's just, oh, I wasted money on nothing, I still feel this way? Or maybe you're afraid that it will be a slap in the face. Because I feel like a lot of people, like you said, could benefit from this simply because it would be awakening, right? Because, again, I'm not denying that potentially you have an extra X. I could throw at the haters, yes, but no haters, no problem. Sure, but exactly the point, right? If you have it, you have further confirmation for the people who doubt you, right? That's a good thing. That's a great thing, even, right? Because then it would further reaffirm how you feel, which is exactly what people want, right? I feel the love for this girl. If I tell her about my love for her and she says, oh, I've been waiting for you to tell me this thing the whole time, reaffirming it feels good. but you're not saying it means you're avoiding being told the truth, which is either one or the other. What it is, it's either going to be the one or the other. In this case, you have to make a choice. Either you go with it or don't, or love her from a distance. But when confronted with, do you still love her, or do you not? Like, do you think she loves you? Do you think she not loves you? Those thoughts start shaking in your head, right? This is the same thing. It's like somebody tells you, so are you actually a female or male? You start shaking in your head. You're like, but if you had confirmation on what you are, it would help you accept more of what the reality is of what it is, right? Because you can see you love her, you don't even know why you love her, you don't even know her. For example, like you haven't really had a relationship with her to know that you actually love her. Similar to this, like you say, you feel like a female. For example, you think you have all the whys, but in reality, you could have none, right? And you don't know that unless you try it. That doesn't mean that your feelings are invalid, but it's not. But they're not confirmed. Like they're not confirmed by the XYs, right? But if they're confirmed by the XYs, you'd feel so much better. That's what I'm saying. I think I made a good analogy on that one. I'll give you a chance to respond. I'll go to the bathroom. I'll be right back. BRB. Here we are, we're back. Let's see. But if it turns out that you have XX matching your birth certificate and there's disappointment on my side, yes. But that's exactly the point, right? Do you actually care about that or not, right? Better to not know means you're living in some I don't want to say delusion, but in a sense, there's clearly something else, right? Because if you're XX, right, then why do you feel the way? You have to start digging into it. Maybe realize maybe there's something else, and that could be maybe a healthy realization of something. Because I'm pretty sure a lot of people are feeling very confused would benefit from such a thing, from clarity, I guess. I would change your name in both cases. Sure. I mean, yeah, absolutely. I mean, if you want to, yeah. I mean, if it's legal, so you can do it, yeah. Sure. Point is, it's just pretty much just what I'm saying is like for your own sake, and if it reaffirms your what's the word I'm thinking of? Your feelings in this case, right? If it reaffirms your feelings, you can always have it as proof to others, about, actually I feel like this, and this shows it that, I am the way that I am because of this, right? Because if you're XX and you feel this way, clearly there's something, right? Because if we're talking about chromosomes, right? If you're saying chromosomes are the main reason why people feel this way, because I agree, if it's a chromosome thing, fine, that's fine, I'm okay with that. But if you're XX and you're feeling female, there's something there, you know, cultural maybe impact, the way you were raised, certain like life experiences, anything. Like everybody can change their interest based on life experiences. That's what I'm saying.
Now she can even have
I feel since I digged into how you feel since it. So, but the thing is, since you dig into it since you were 10 or 11 years old. Thing is, did you have proper help with how you felt, or were you just allowed to do whatever you want? Because that's the difference, right? So, for example, a person like this, if they have a wacko mother or a father, let's say you're a boy and they just want to fuck around and just like, you know what, it's female, let's dress like female. They're impacting the way that you live. That's not necessarily how you felt, but that's impacting the way in your life changes, and you're like that, and that, then you were forced into that life pretty much. Like there's those situations that can happen. It was kind of always there, but you didn't have a name for it. I mean, a lot of kids at young ages are curious about the opposite gender. That's just the fact.
a willy because this is 2024 and trans is the 6th most viewed category on Pornhub. And it's not just in character creators. This bias towards male players is clear in the world building as well. The cyberpunk...
Believe it or not, biggest gooners, gays and trans. When I say gays, I mean also bisexuals, but like, gays and trans are the biggest gooners. No fucking way, believe it or not, more than straight people. Fucking insane. No wonder trans is a topic that's one of the more searched ones.
Designers claim it's the 6th most...
Because look at this. Lesbian? Dudes like lesbians, I guess, but not that much nowadays. Bonnie, whatever the fuck this is. I don't know. MILFs, transgender, mature. MILFs, I guess, for the stories. And Japanese is lately a new trend. Popular with women, outdoors, big dicks, I suppose, or big tits, or I don't know.
Viewed
I hate this shit because it's like, it's just words.
category on Pornhub, and it's not
Even Pornhub is like porn is.
just in character creators. This bias towards male players is clear in the world building as well. The cyberpunk designers claimed their world would be super...
That's not true. That's not true. Yeah, that thing has a dick. Also, there's male strippers. Also, you can bang both males and females as prostitutes. They're prostitutes, and you can still bang both of them. There's male holographic strippers as well. Yep.
super gender non-conforming, like, duh, in a world where people are casually changing their bodies, swapping out body parts, where you can get robot legs and Wolverine claws, being trans just isn't that big of a deal. Which sounds convincing, sounds cohesive, but then you actually play the game, and the gender non-conformity is nowhere to be found, except for this guy, Fingers, who is a total...
So unless everybody looks like this fucking ugly freak, then there's no gender conformity, like trans people don't exist. You have the ability to look like a hot chick or a hot guy and be trans, and you'll choose to look like this. There's a fucking reason why that's the future, dumb fuck. Obviously they don't want to look like that. If they have the ability to change their body parts to look good while being the opposite gender, they'll do it. What the fuck? I'm sorry, you look like that and there's not enough people to identify like that? Yeah, there's the fucking reason. People prefer pretty people, dumb shit. But I'm not female or female. I'm not male or female. That's why I was confused until I figured out a thing and I feel in between. Yeah, I mean, sure. Yeah, I mean, but okay. I mean, I don't know what to say about the topic anymore. I think I pretty much said a lot of things that probably will get me canceled nowadays, but I think I was pretty fair in the middle ground. Me neither. That's the point. Give us better representation than this. But that's what this person is saying. Saying the opposite. He's saying the opposite. He's saying, give us more this.
Total creep. A balding femme? What a monster. Everyone, it's time to stop pretending that the reason trans femmes might have felt alienated from video games was because they couldn't have a massive schlong. And if you play as a woman, but you want to choose the deeper voice option or vice versa, then you not only are you going to get misgendered.
By the way, I know he's not saying that he wants ugly people, but he wants more real people in a cyberpunk game. Like more like, you know, like that. Like more, I don't know, like fat, ugly, like fucking Concord people. He wants Concord people. I bet this guy loved Concord.
Misgendered everywhere you go, but half of the love interests no longer fancy you. You are punished in-game for your gender transgressions.
What?
You can read interests, option or vice versa, then you not only are you going to get misgendered everywhere you go, but half of the love interests no longer fancy you.
Yeah, because they're gender specific. I, as a dude, could not romance Judy for a fucking reason. She's not into fucking dicks. It doesn't matter if you fucking identify as a goddamn truck with a penis. She doesn't like penis. Doesn't like your penis. Are you not getting that they are sarcastic, ironic parody now? No, they're not. They're not yet. They're not. Like, the way that they're talking is...
And if you play as a woman, but you want to choose the deeper voice option...
By the way, by the voice, you can tell that they're not. So, I mean, I can look at the picture. I can already tell you this person is not being ironic. I can't even... How do you do this? Opening a new... I don't know how to do it. It's not here. I forgot. You can't really do it on this. Yeah, so this is... There's no parrot in this. There's no parrot in this. It's trying to be comedic, but there's no parrot in this. There's straight up bullshit.
Vice versa, then you not only are you going to get misgendered everywhere you go, but half of the love interests no longer fancy you. You are punished in-game for your gender transgressions. You can read...
I understand the comedy that, oh, gender transgressions, ha ha ha. Yes, but the point is, he's wrong. This person's wrong. Because they don't realize why that's like that.
Tell this game was made for the straight male player, not only from the early promo materials, but also from the fact that the female love interests are integrated into the main mission, while the male love interests...
You cannot romance Judy as a male, only as a female lesbian. The fuck is he smoking, bro? More saddled, more calmer, sure. But the guy I showed earlier is truly unhinged. And he's truly ironic with the way that he does things. He's parodying and ironically just doing the worst, weirdest fucking shit. And just to showcase either side, because he does both sides. He does the one side and the other side. He shows both sides the way they react to somebody like him, right? That's the point. He's acting both gay and not gay because he's probably like somewhere, like he's probably straight, right? But he likes he likes to chill, likes to relax, likes the way to play the crowd and this and that. Just like likes it. Likes to be a part of them just so he can like do these things. To show all their true sides. By the way, I disagree with this point here. Like he's wrong.
Was made for the straight male player, not only...
That's not true. You have Panam just you. You cannot romance the transgender person. Judy is for the lesbian. River is for the gay guy. You can romance Kelly or whatever the fuck his name is, with I think both genders. There's that too. So I don't fucking want to hear that males, straight males have an advantage in this game for romance. That's absolutely fucking dumb, fucking stupid argument.
From the early promo materials, but also from the fact that the female love interests are integrated into the main mission.
What the fuck do you mean? The promo materials for both of them are both the male and the female. God damn it.
While the male love interests are hidden in side quests, not
No. Judy is literally a main quest character.
To mention the way the bedroom scenes play out, it is pure male gaze, even when you're meant to be a lesbian, complete with.
Yeah. Dudes like lesbians. Because they like females. Literally. If you're gay and you see a guy fuck a trans girl, you would be more inclined to watch that than just two lesbians fucking. Because you like dick. It's not fucking rocket science.
Phallic symbolism, which I highly doubt is here for trans lesbians. And if you're a woman romancing a man, it's the exact opposite. The game will not let you see any of his body, but you do get to see all of yourself. The truth.
Dude, I don't know. Those muscular hands, that's still fucking attractive to girls. I don't know. Like, if a guy sees a female hand, a normal female hand, they're not as attracted to that as a female is to a muscular hand. Look at that bad boy. Look at him. Like, look at him. He's built like a fucking tank. He's shredded like a motherfucker. That is goon juice for girls. What the fuck do you mean?
Get to see all of yourself. The truth is, games have enhanced the gender binary in some ways. Video game designers can take the best bits of the hottest models and combine them into an enhanced beauty ideal, a Franken supermodel which no real human can achieve.
I loved seeing my orc ass when I was playing it. My dude was wearing the loincloth and just arm things here, and that was it. I wish I could probably pull up a picture. Hold on. Let me see if I can pull up a picture to show you what my dude looked like. I probably have somewhere saved a picture of my character. I 100% have, but I need to find it where it is. It's probably, yeah, somewhere. Where would it be? Where would it be? Is it just in regulars? Okay. By the way, this is what I made my chick look like. My protector. Simple as that. She wasn't anything super fucking crazy hot. Just looked okay. Here was my. Well, technically, this is what you could see. Pretty much what it looked like. So my guy was primarily dressed like this. My girls primarily dressed like this. They were not fucking naked. I mean, Liza like this, but I only did it because I don't know. I liked that outfit on her. Looked good. My dude was fully dressed until I got that thing, which I can't find yet. I can probably find it. Add. Is there boobies here? There's kind of boobies here. I cannot show that. Do I not have a picture of my dude in his... I guess technically, so he still had this eventually, like when we were in town. He was dressed like this. I don't know why I don't have the naked thing. I mean, you can kind of see it here. Right, he was just like super fucking ripped and like this and that, pretty much naked. But I cannot find it, and it's fucking pissed. Arthur thing. Well, and really, I don't. Oh, that's my ass. Can I show this? I mean, it's just an ass. Not much different than the thing. Look at this. This is my guy. He was shredded to fuck. I cannot find the image I'm looking for. I had a full picture of him, I swear. maybe not, didn't save it. That's wild. Wow. Yeah, I can't find it. Probably have to look at different places where to find it. Maybe here. It might be here. It's in randoms. Oh shit. Yep. That ain't it. That's funny shit. Damn, I really don't have it. I'm extremely impressed with myself for not finding what I'm looking for. Personal art. I didn't stream Baldur's Gate. I can't find it. It's fine. Let's continue this. But yeah, my guy was wearing just like barely any clothes. He looked cool.
The beauty ideal is
But you saw my shadow hardness and that were all clothed.
sexy binary, young, toned, exaggerated, super gendered, but most players will not look like their avatar regardless of their gender. So the real body has become
Also now
monstrous. The monsters in
Also now you're accepting it. Somewhere on your PC a folder marked with H. Look into that. Somewhere on your PC with folder marked H. I doubt it. You wanted me to do it on stream, but that's not gonna happen. H. Horizon Zero Dawn? There is no such folder. Looking at the thing right now. I know, no such thing. But it would have been funny though. The only thing is like Horizon Zero Dawn or some music from Sims 2 where it says hip hop house music. House mix. Yeah, okay. This is some Smite shit. What the fuck? Found some Smite images. Damn, these are old. Damn, these are old. Oh wow, this is old too. Oh my goodness, this is old as fuck. Where's this at? Hold on. Open folder. Where the fuck is open? Oh. Ah, okay. That's fine. Etchy folder showcased on. I don't think so. I don't have that shit on my PC, homie. I don't have that shit on my PC. I ain't no such shit. My ass is clean. I'm a good boy.
in these games get to have skin texture and be gender non-conforming, to be old and fat and affected by gravity, because they're meant to be gross and scary and funny, like this monster couple in Baldur's Gate. She can be tall and fat and saggy because you're meant to kill her. She gets to be bigger than her boyfriend because they're monsters. The same way that Fingers gets to be gender non-conforming because he's a creep. It's meant to be...
What? These are just character designs, buddy. They have nothing to do with gender. Is this guy fucking retarded? Or like, I know we don't throw that word often, but like, is this guy okay?
grotesque in a world of elves who look like Instagram influencers. So as the hero, you can't be fat, and you can't even be a tall woman. The game establishes the acceptable parameters for what a body and what a gender should be. And these
yeah, it's called game design. Game choice. So you can adjust everything into it.
genders are virtual, unachievable ideals, a fantasy of gender with rigid rules for the body. Because the root of all this, going back to our dear Lara, is the assumption that men could never, should never connect or identify with women. She is not him, she is for him. And the sexy binary...
She's not there for anybody. She's there for the story, dumb fuck.
...is a way of reinforcing that. And that's why...
By the way, can I be fucking honest? I loved her old body. It surprised me when I saw it. It surprised me. I genuinely didn't expect it. And I found it attractive. Oh, you couldn't even romance her, by the way, which sucks, because I really like her.
Reinforcing that. And that's why transness is so... And the...
So what? She's meant to be old. Yeah, she is, and she looks old. What the fuck do you mean? She doesn't look spry. So the way that her race works is they are old, but their bodies don't go as old fast. Yes, she's old age-wise.
Sexy binary is a way of reinforcing that.
You can see her body. Clearly, her body's not perfect. It can be attractive, but that doesn't mean it's not old. If you compare it to fucking Shadowheart's like perfect, pretty much perfect body. What the fuck? Lysel's body is gross to some because of how it is. So why don't you show that as an example? Because it matters. Because they're different people, fucking different creatures. The truth is, queer people are shown as monsters for ages. No. Give me an example. What queer person is a monster in a game because they're queer? What? I disagree with that 100%. I have not played a game where the game tells me kill this queer person or kill this queer monster. That has not been the case ever. I have not been assigned to ever kill a queer creature, monster, because it's queer. What? Come on, you know better than this. Don't say that.
And that's why transness is so...
Look at her. She's a cutie. I like her.
Weird and limited in these games. You can't squeeze gender diversity into a system designed to enforce a strict patriarchal binary. So if I want to be body...
Because to do that, you have to change the world to not have just two genders. And you're not going to do that. It's just not going to happen. You can't. It's not because I'm telling you don't do it or you can't do it. I'm telling you it's nigh impossible. Because you have to change every single person's mind and change the whole fucking thing. Vampire, Frankenstein's monsters. They're vampires. And Frankenstein's monster is a monster. How is he queer? What the fuck does that have to do? What the fuck does that even have to? That's the first time I've heard that, and not just what? How? What the fuck does Frankenstein's monster have anything to do with queer people? Fucking queer didn't exist back then. What the fuck do you mean? Oh my goodness. I do need you to elaborate on that. They're metaphors? Motherfucker. Queers didn't exist when Frankenstein's monster was created. How is it a metaphor? It's only a metaphor if you put it in your own fucking head, then it's a metaphor. How are vampires fucking queers? How is it a metaphor? Vampires have existed for so fucking long. Brother in Christ. Brother in Christ. Queers have always existed. I disagree. I disagree that vampires and fucking Frankenstein's monster are metaphors for queer people being monsters. I full-heartedly disagree. That's like saying Voldemort is clearly a metaphor for a queer monster because fucking what's her face is the Harry Potter writer is clearly a transphobe, and she did it ever since the beginning of time. She knew that Voldemort was a queer monster and they had to defeat the big queer monster, clearly, right? I can say that, I can spin that narrative ain't true, but like, who's to stop me? You see the problem with that? Am I? No, I'm not. That I honestly didn't expect to hear that from you. Genuinely, like you're semi-balanced on some things, but you cannot honestly genuinely believe that. You cannot genuinely believe that. Wizard World is different problem. Oh, of course. It's, let me guess, they hate gay people, right? They clearly lynch all the gay people there and burn them on a stake. That's why there's no gay people, correct? Am I right? Did I nail that? Come on, man. Come on, please. Let's be reasonable here. That's just looking for issues rather than enjoying the things. They don't have to be evil. Why do you have to make them evil? I don't know.
Body positive and love myself in all my androgynous weirdness and create a version of me with which to enter into these fantasy worlds, I am reminded by game after game that I cannot be feminine if I am also tall. The Sims 4 didn't actually have any trans options to begin with. Those options came later. The alpha versions of Baldur's Gate 3 and Cyberpunk also had no trans options. All these games were built for a simple choice between a male and a female avatar, and then the trans choices were an afterthought. So the trans options
No, they were only added because the fucking culture was forced upon them. Otherwise, they were not inclusive. So that those changes came when, you know what I'm gonna say, DEI came in, and guess what happened? Fucking DEI killed gaming. At least most of the fucking studios. You can go back and see so many people lost their jobs, so many studios closed. I mean, come on. It's just, and it's not, I don't hate. I like diversifying everything. Like different games from different genres is diverse by itself. Okay? Inclusion, great. I love it. I love it. But when done right, this ain't right. Like, clearly these were just added so people will shut the fuck up about it. And clearly people are not shut the fucking fuck about it. They're trying to integrate themselves more. They did Velgard purely fucking DEI. And, well, we saw how it happened. So what happened? Initiatives like DEI are not getting killed. So, who's at issue here? Who's the problem? Why is this initiative being killed if it's so good and so progressive? Why is it failing? Oh, people are at fault due to censorship. Monster and secret codes are used to show gays and otherwise queer characters. I disagree. What censorship? You're telling me you can't be openly gay or openly queer? Or you realize in the past 10 years that shit has become overbearing even? That's how bad it is? Bad, when I say bad, is meaning that before, if you were gay, you were just gay. Whatever, right? But now, gay has become even a lesser, more of a stepping stone for whatever the fuck you identify as later, higher up, like whatever more difficult pronouns you decide to use, rather than being gay. Gay people feel suppressed by trans and QA plus. You realize that, right? It's strange that it's so fucking baffling to me that gay people feel more oppressed by the TQA plus. It's insane. I have never heard of this. Brother, where are you digging? That is almost 100 years ago. Okay. So you think this production code is bad? I'm reading it right now. You think this production code is bad? The 1934 production code, motion pictures, herald text of the production code? You think children's sex organs to never be shown is a bad thing? Looking at it, reading it, it says no film or episode may throw ridicule on any religious faith, which is extremely fair because it means all religion, not specific one religion. Yep. No seduction or rape, which is fair, right? I think that's fucking fair. That sounds, the Hays Code sounds exactly like modern day, just anything. As if boycotting just whatever the fuck because you disagree with it. Wow, shocking. It's the same thing. Okay. Okay. I mean, okay. So, what? I mean, that doesn't change anything. Lesbian gays trans were considered obscene. Okay, again, in which year was this? Can you tell me which year that was? I want you to write down the year. I saw the year. I just want you to tell me the year. I'm waiting. No, I'm just asking. I'm not salty. I'm just asking. Hey, I'm not salty. I don't care. I wasn't alive during that time. It's 1934. That's almost 100 years before. Like, no. Do you know how far we've come? I'm pretty sure you know, right? So just because that shit happened then, and it ended 30 years later, by the way, what the fuck do you care? Like, what the fuck does that matter? By the way, I need to see where particularly did it say trans. Because I bet my fine dollar back in the 30s, there was no such thing as a trans person. There were cross-dressers, sure. But there were no... Yeah, I'm looking. It's just none of them are... particularly about what the hell you're talking about. Yeah, cross-dressing. Okay. With cross-dressing and homosexual pairings. Yep. It's not trans. It's cross-dressing, unless you want to say cross-dressing is trans. Because I know my shit. Well, at least about cross-dressing, at least I did my research a while back. A while back, when I say many, many years before I even started doing this. I knew that was a thing. Some people, they believe that queer people should not be in the media. But, well, hold on. You're saying completely different things now. We're talking, you bring up things, I address the things, you don't counter address the things, and then you keep bringing up new things. That people should not be in the media. Queer people. Would define to me what a queer person is. What is a queer person? What's their thing that makes them so different that they need their own label as queer? What is a queer person? They're not LGBT. They're not none of these. So what is a queer person?
Become pretty minor. You can.
I'll watch the video while you. About trans people existing. Sorry, Hitler burned all research. Oh. Shit, man. I didn't know Hitler owned the world. Hitler didn't own the world. It wasn't for that long. What are you talking about? Hitler burned all research on trans people? What? Do you have proof of that? I'm interested if you have proof of that. Not exactly? Okay, didn't elaborate. I am curious. I'm very interested. This is the first time I've heard of this.
You can change your hair or your junk, but the sexy binary was built
we'll look it
into
up.
those games from the start, and the limits of the sexy binary persist. But to build an actual trans-inclusive character creator, what if you abandoned the sexy binary entirely? 2022's Saints Row was definitely a flop and not a revolution by any means, but their character creator...
But that's why it flopped, dumb fuck.
...was super innovative. There is no sexy binary, just a human shape.
What do you mean super... The previous fucking Saints Row had the same thing.
That can be changed in almost any direction you want it to. Everybody...
Motherfucker didn't play previous Saints Row. He doesn't know.
...on a slider. Chest, crotch, muscles, body shape, everything.
Yeah, could do that in the last one before that.
It's the first time I truly felt like I could create...
I cannot pull out all history out of mass. No, it's okay. No, it's just about Q, right? I mean... Whatever you're addressing at this point, you said you believe that queer people, you believe that people think that queer people should not be in media. I asked you what queer was, and how is it different from LGBT and Q, like how is it different than all these previous, which doesn't include them clearly because it's its own separate word. And also, you said, and about trans people existing, sorry, Hitler burned all research. You said Hitler burned all research on trans people existing during that time. So I'm curious where you heard that, seen or read that, because I want to do my own research. I want to look it up and see what sources you have that I can actually look at to inform myself about these things.
Create a version of myself, which was a great feeling. I think this is a glimpse into what character creators of the future could look like. Start from scratch. Reinvent the wheel. But also, I think what most
can't.
of these games are really missing is solid world building, which ties the character creator to the world of the game itself. Cyberpunk failed because it's about a body modification world, where
Yeah.
gender-related body modification has essentially been forgotten in favor
Because it's not a game mechanic.
of the sexy.
It's about what's as a game mechanic in the game that's being utilized. This isn't fucking Sims. This is a game, single player game with a single story that you follow and you play.
Binary. Dragon Age the Veilguard failed probably.
You can upgrade your fighting mechanics because they're utilized in the fighting game.
In part because it seems to have treated its writers really poorly, but more specifically because they take gender very seriously, but also didn't properly consider how gender worked in this world. Is this a place where trans...
It's never enough. It's never enough. It's never gonna be enough. There's always something that's not gonna be enough. There's always gonna be something. I mean, you can always find something you don't like in a video game, but like, if they had done this, I would have enjoyed it more. Or like, if they hadn't done this, I would have enjoyed it more. Clearly, you can always make, S9. So, okay, queer used to be a slur over 100 years ago. Now, no, it's not just queer. It was a slur. Now, some in the LGBTQA blah 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 community are using it for themselves, a bit like a vague or umbrella term. Yeah, they're using it as a fucking whatchamacallit. They're using it as a kind of, actually, it's kind of ironic. So it's the same thing with the N-word, right? Back in the day, when black people were slaves, they were called the hard R, right? Then eventually their culture by themselves, because they took it from that, they started calling each other the N-word, but with the A at the end, not with the R, because they're so used to it, and it became their culture, right? So in this case, I suppose, again, queer itself is not a unique thing. If it was a slur from back in the day, it would indicate a gay person. It would indicate somebody who's cross-dressing and is gay. So I would indicate that is more of a T than anything, or even gay. Again, it's not its own thing, but I guess because AI plus whatever, like you want to add on to it, I don't care, add on to it, but just know that it's not as unique as it's claimed to be. I am again curious for you to elaborate on the Hitler burning all research. I am very curious on that. But this one, yes, okay. I mean, sure. Yeah, I agree that the LGBTQ plus yada yada community has decided to integrate the queer word as a flag of a sort. That yes, we are queer, and that's okay. Okay. Huh. I mean, again, I am making the same analogy with the N word, right? They were being called the hard R word. And because they were called the hard R word, they started using it on each other and started using it with the softer, without the R, with an A, and it's the same thing. I've heard of the Danish girl, yes. And what about it? Are you talking about the loosely inspired thing, or which one are you talking about? Because you're telling me that it's the story about the thing, it's loosely inspired by it. I'm waiting for a response. And again, you got to remember when this was, what year it was, which is very important. I still don't understand that was the first draft in the 30s. It was actually 26, if I'm not mistaken. So it would be before. It would be the 20s, which is over 100 years ago. So what about it? By having changed, by the way, by being operated on and having changing your gender, that means what? You're a trans person, okay. And does that make you trans? You have to have gender reassignment surgery to be trans? Are you saying other people that don't have that are not trans? And at that point, how do you know when it's trans and when it's gay? Also, you keep saying that the Danish girl thing, but like, do you actually know the story behind it and why? I'm reading something, by the way, while waiting for you to respond. Okay. Yeah. Okay, I was right. Wow. Danish girl died from having uterus implanted. Damn, get fucked. The problem is, yeah, back in the day, back in those times, not good. Not good. Yeah, so she lived, didn't die like the movie's absolute bullshit. Lived through the thing, enjoyed life, I guess. They had bottom surgery. Why? Because she had many other operations. There was a science about sexuality and sexual identity for a long time at that period, but not much documented. Not documents survived, partially because documents from a big research center were burned. This is why it's hard to prove that queer people always existed. Gay people always existed, not queer. You're mistaking two things. Gay people existed. Queer, like you said, was an insult. So a queer person would be a gay person, right? Do we agree on that? Because what's the difference between a queer person and a gay person? What's the difference? I'm curious. What's your definition? What's the difference? Who said you were confused? I didn't say you were confused. I'm asking you, what's the difference between a gay person and a queer person? If back in the day, cross-dressing gay people were labeled queers, right? What's the difference? it as much. Thing is, like, it's same. Who cares? You know, like it happened, but we're here now, right? We're supposed to be better now, more accepting. Yet at the same time, feel sometimes even more divided than before. Gay, trans, intersexual people have always existed. I wasn't talking about you in particular, but okay. We are not a modern invention. Only the term used to describe other people change. Exactly, that's what I'm saying. I didn't say it didn't exist. I said, what's the difference between gay and queer, or cross-dresser and gay and queer? What's the difference? I'm asking the difference. I'm not saying they didn't exist. I'm saying a single term got separated into multiple terms for absolutely no fucking reason. And I suppose it was to take the insult and integrate it so when it's heard and it's used, it's thought in a positive way rather than a negative way. So when you say queer, you're not thinking about the bad word, you're thinking about the positive word. Same way with the N-word, like I said. When you're calling a homie the N-word without the R, it's more like a positive bro thing. Like, obviously not when you're white, but like, you get what I'm saying, rather than calling it with the R word, which is the bad word. I mean, I to me, it's not difficult to understand unless I'm missing something. So you're welcome to elaborate as a queer person.
Trans people struggle or not? I have no idea. So how do you get non-binary world building right? Well, let's look at some examples. The Fallen London games are about a world in which Victorian London has been pulled into a huge underground cavern next to hell. So there are now all sorts of creatures integrated into the city, like devils, mummies, and...
Let me look it up. Fallen London. I have never heard of these games. I am curious. Originally Echo Bazaar, a browser-based interactive narrative game developed by Fail Better Games. Fail Better, not Feel Better. Fail Better. They made Mask of the Rose. So pretty much these are the whole fucking... Okay, let's look at their latest one. I am curious. Their latest one, Mask of the Rose, came out 2023. And they have mostly positive reviews. Now, that's nice. They have 209 reviews. Fantastic. Okay. I would assume this is a guy and as the lead because it looks like a guy's face who's dressed up as a girl. Now let's look up at their Steam player charts, player count. Yes. Their peak, and I'm not lying, peak at the newest game is 463, which is not bad. In the last 24 hours, 7 people only play it. Playing right now, 2. When was their peak? Peak was at the start. It came out, and yeah. Okay, well, I mean, there's that. I don't consider queer a slur anymore, but I cannot speak for the whole community. No, I understand that. I'm not saying no, but what I'm saying is it's more modernly accepted to be called queer because it's added into LGBTQ, right? And it's more thought of it within that community as a positive word rather than an insult. That's what I'm saying. I am just asking what's the difference between queer, gay, crossdress. Like crossdresser, people like to crossdress, right? But most people that crossdress are either cucks or gay, right? But then they're gay and then they're trans. So it's a very, very thin line on that one. So where does queer go into it? What is a queer? Okay, guys, they're developing this. Okay. All right. 150 years ago. By this person. Okay. We got the context. I wanted to make sure I knew what the game was about. I didn't want to get on my ass.
Squid people. And as for the character creator, you can identify it as a lady, a gentleman, or, my dear sir, there are individuals roaming the streets of fallen London at this very moment with the faces of squid. Squid! Do you ask them their gender? And yet you waste our time asking me trifling and impertinent questions about mine. It is my own business, sir, and I bid you good day. Gender ambiguity is seamlessly integrated into the game.
But that's done in a text game. Funny. It's also made in a funny way. I think that was funny. But the point is, it's made in a text game, which is different. Voice acting, just it's a whole different beast.
Not just through world building, but also in tone. The world of Fallen London is cheeky and mysterious, and so gender can also be cheeky and mysterious.
But that, you're looking at the browser game. That's not even the same thing.
No Man's Sky is about a universe of genderless aliens where everyone's pronouns are they, them, and it just fits with the tone of the game. My gender is a swirling ball of gas. Yes, sure, that's good. And when you visit planets and catalogs...
There's something people do to very different reasons. Calling somebody cross-dressing doesn't say anything about their sexuality or identity. I'll tell you one thing. Cross-dressing doesn't even exist anymore. If it does, it's a very small minority. And again, it can't even exist at this point because if you cross-dress, you're labeled as something that already exists that's not cross-dressing. People think cross-dressing is an insult nowadays, which is crazy. It's similar to being called a sissy, for example. Like a sissy. Those are still kind of cross-dress. That is trying to think of something else. I can't think of it. It's called. Anyways, regardless. Okay, let's say cross-dressing isn't. Okay, then you tell me. My question is still not answered. What is a queer person? Like, how do you are a queer person, right? I am curious what your definition of a queer person is. What is a queer person? Like, what makes them unique from being gay or trans? What is a queer person? I'm curious because I want to get informed as from a queer person.
New species, their genders will be like exotic and extreme, which is a cool little detail, but also adds to the alienness of the world. Why would everywhere in the whole universe have the same gender system as us? Isn't this more fun and interesting for both?
The fuck, how would you even know what gender they are and label them in such a absolutely fucking brain fucked way? Exotic gender. What the fuck is an exotic gender? Just do type and be exotic. Why does it have to be gender? What the fuck does gender have to do with exotic?
Fallen London and No Man's Sky, this is just a small part of their world building. It feels like the developers looked at their worlds, thought about how gender would work in them, and then let gender nonconformity organically emerge from that. Which isn't going to make for a flashy advertising gimmick the same way a bulge slider will, but it does feel more thoughtful. Trans inclusion is difficult because if you...
Why are you going to identify as one of the aliens as being exotic gender? What? That has nothing to do with your own inclusion. The idea is you want to get represented. How is an alien being called exotic? It's not even, that doesn't even talk and you don't interact with it much. Somehow affirming your gender identity. What?
You do it genuinely, it will force you to
And again, these are text things. They have nothing to do with narratives. A narrative, a voice narrative of a character or something is a trillion times more difficult to do than just writing it on a text. That's not the same thing.
Evaluate everything about gender. You know, when conservatives complain that female characters and trans characters are tacked on and feel forced in these games, they're kind of right, just not for the reasons they think. It's actually because games are scared to abandon the male gaze as the default player perspective.
No, it's not because it's shit writing. No, it's because the male gaze is the problem.
Because boys won't let anyone else into their clubhouse. But you know what's funny? women play games just as much as men.
That's not true. That's absolutely not true. That's factually not true. I mean, you can say whatever you want. Not the largest demographic in gaming. That is factually not true. Daily Dot, I've never heard of you fucking in my life. It's absolutely not true. Some people are not sure themselves where they fit, if they are gay or trans or something else. That is why queer can be used as a vague term. Maybe you should stop watching the video. No, it's fine. It's almost done. No, listen, this is fine. This is good. Am I wrong? If I'm wrong, tell me I'm wrong, and I want to discuss why I'm wrong, because I don't feel like I'm wrong about this, because that's not true. Females, adult women are now the largest demographic in gaming. Like, think. That's not true.
Do. They just play different kinds of games. If we look at gaming consoles by gender, we can see.
Yeah, and what games are most sold? You want to look at the statistics? I can show you the most games being sold, and I can bet you that more females don't play those games than the other ones. And you telling me that females are the larger demographic? What the fuck do you mean?
That PlayStation has a huge gender disparity and is mostly used by men, while Nintendo Switch is pretty evenly split down the middle. And researchers are outright saying that's probably because Switch's flagship games are designed to have a broader appeal. Their best sellers are games like...
I agree with that. I 100% agree with that.
And Pokemon, they're mixed blobby games. Whereas the best-selling games on PlayStation are games like Grand Theft Auto, God of War, The Witcher, the sexy binary games which seem to alienate...
No! The action games established from fucking a long time ago. The IPs that people grew up with.
A lot of women, probably. Because they were designed to. So while I'm frustrated with character creator options because of how they limit me in creating myself, I actually think that this is a much bigger gender issue. It's about an audience limited to one demographic. The demographic who grew up on Will You Save the Girl or Play Like One. It's about the assumption that men could never identify with female characters, only...
I'm starting to realize that a lot of this way of thinking people are stuck in extremely old ways, which is kind of ironic considering you would think they'd be progressive. They're stuck in how it used to be rather than focusing on improving the thing. They're talking about something from the past being the issue for the present rather than focusing on the present, fixing the present for the future. Which, I mean, I can't help you. I can try, and I have. I'm here to discuss it, but like, how do you help a person who's stuck in the past, blaming the past, not realizing where the issue lies in the present, without blaming the past for it? Like, I think that's the main issue. The main issue is they are blaming so much of the past, not realizing that the future, or current, rather present, is suffering from quality that they don't provide and has nothing to do with what has been before.
Lust after them. Women and non-binary people have been playing as male characters for decades. People don't identify with characters just because they happen to be the same demographic as us. We identify with them because of shared experiences, values, sense of humor. Games have...
Okay, I'm willing to agree to that.
Stop building in emotional distance with female characters. I think men being able to identify with women is a hurdle we are ready to overcome. And
real men cannot identify with women because women and men do not share the same struggles. Not even close, not even possible. So, this is absolutely absurd. No man can feel or understand how a woman feels in regards to any emotions because they just feel them differently. And in the other way around, no women can feel what men feel in regards to their emotions. That's why there's these disparities in communication. And that's why it's always said Try to listen to each other to understand each other's points and not pretend like you understand how the other one feels. That's simple psychology.
And that doesn't mean every game has to be a mixed blobby game, but we should adopt more of a mixed blobby ethos. After all, we're all more the same than we are different.
Nope. That's not true. That's not true. People are more different than you think, which is funny because I always used to put them in boxes back in the day because you could always see patterns. But even with the patterns, if they're 99% the same, there's always going to be something that's different, right? So that's why there's a baseline, and then from there you spread. That's why I'm accepting of all kinds of people, because I understand that baseline we all started from the start the same way, right? But then experiences, life choices, this and that, things change us, and we cannot live the same way. We might have similar upbringings, but they're never going to be the same. Rarely will we ever end up in the same place while walking the same path, or end eventually in the future the same way. That is an extreme rarity.
And the game is only fair.
Yeah, actually, it's impossible to share the same life, but like the same experiences, like to be very, very similar is very rare.
If everyone gets a turn. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. We've also got an exclusive short video about Cyberpunk 2077 on our Patreon. Our lovely patrons are the only reason we're able to make these videos. So thank you so much to all of our patrons, and a very special thanks to this lot.
That was the video. That was very interesting. That was educational, sure. I'm very educated by this whole discussion with you and with the video. This person is a bit ignorant in their own ways, but still, that video went longer than I expected. 30 minutes. I felt like Jesus Christ, I talked about it for 2 hours. But the topic was good. I like it. But I agree with you that you can be whatever you want as long as you feel the way that you do. I want people to be happy. I want them to do their best, live their life to the fullest. Mentally, I want people to just find some peace so we don't torment each other. Not just ourselves, but those around us. Very important. Hopefully, people, from my experience, men react a bit different, but problem is upbringing can be very different. I agree. I 100% agree. That's true. Yeah. Everybody's different types of experiences. Everybody grows up different. Like somebody, like again, like I consistently say this, somebody might be feeling trans right now purely because their parents decided to start dressing them as a girl, treat them like a girl, and all of this, even though it wasn't their choice. That's also a thing. That's also a different way. Like there's just so many things. But this was good. This was good. I think personally, this was healthy. This was healthy discussion. Hopefully people know what I mean with what I say, and if there's any misunderstandings, I will gladly discuss them and try to clarify them. I apologize for being a bit emotional about the video, purely because I really don't like ignorant people or just lies. I'm not a huge fan of those, and this person lied about a few things, about the demographics being the way they are, what the real reasons were. Like, they were just throwing their own biases in there. But I mean, I understand, every side has a ignorant person that would be saying these things. It's a damn shame that there's audiences that believe them, but it is what it is, and we have to be there has to be more people there to be able to discuss their differences. Like you said, you're glad that I found it interesting, even if I disagree with it a lot. It was interesting to hear my opinions, and I appreciate it. And this is it. This is what I want. I want to build a community of even people who disagree from all sorts of lives. I want them to share their experiences so we understand each other more. Fucking, I don't care what kind of person comes in. He could be the nastiest fucking person, but as long as they share and tell us why they are, it would give us a better understanding of why they are the way that they are, and maybe we can break through them. Maybe we can still be friends regardless of our differences. That is what you want. That is peak progressiveness. Even though I don't find myself being a progressive, I am such a middle grounder. But I think that is where the best people are, in the middle, because they see both sides and talk to both sides while trying not to insult them. They're also being critical in a sense. I'm sure you understand and you felt it. I was still pushing you and being critical of the way you do things and say things, similar to how he did, right? And I was being critical to the person as well. But that's purely because I'm asking questions to inform myself, to make it clear. So maybe eventually when I say something and it clicks in you, you're like, oh shit, you know what? Maybe I didn't think of that. And we can all help each other figure stuff out about life. Maybe we all differently hold keys to unlock betterness in ourselves. That's what I think. That's what I think. I don't think anybody knows everything and nobody is perfect, but we can all help each other be better.